The objective of the lesson is to be able to use a coordinate plane to solve problems, including finding the distance between 2 points with either a common x or y coordinate. In previous lessons, we have plotted points in all 4 quadrants of the coordinate plane. We have also learned how to find the absolute value of numbers. We will use these concepts to find the distance between points on the coordinate plane. It is possible to determine distance between 2 points on the coordinate plane by simply counting spaces on the coordinate grid. If we were asked to determine the distance between Appleton Farms, point H, and the cafe, point C, we could simply count from point H to point C. 1, 2, 3. Counting spaces on the coordinate grid is not the most effective way to determine distance on the coordinate plane. If we had a coordinate plane that had x and y coordinates in the tens or even the hundreds, counting spaces would be very tedious. When we are looking at 2 points with either a common x coordinate or a common y coordinate, we can use absolute value to determine their distance. Let's see how this works with our previous example of the farm and the cafe. Appleton Farms is located at -1, -2, and the cafe is located at -1, 1. Note that the 2 places have the same x coordinate. Since the x coordinates are the same, we can look at the y coordinates to determine the distance. Using absolute value, we can determine that Appleton Farms is 2 units from the x-axis, or 0, and the cafe is 1 unit from the x-axis, or 0. We can then add 2 and 1 to find that the 2 places are 3 units apart, which is what we found when we counted spaces. If we were to go back to the other coordinate plane, we can determine the distance between the 2 points the same way. Since the y coordinates in the 2 points are the same, we will look at the x coordinates to determine the distance between the 2 points. The x coordinate of point A is -25. The absolute value of -25 is 25. The x coordinate of point B is 15. The absolute value of 15 is 15. Add the absolute values together to determine that the 2 points are 40 units apart. Let's go back to our original coordinate plane and look at Janet's house, point K, and the ice cream parlor, point J. Both places are located in quadrant 4. The coordinates of Janet's house are 2, -3, and the coordinates of the ice cream parlor are 2, -1. As the x coordinates are the same, we will look at the y coordinates. The y coordinate for Janet's house is -3. The absolute value of -3 is 3. The y coordinate for the ice cream parlor is -1. The absolute value of -1 is 1. Because these 2 points are in the same quadrant, we will actually subtract their absolute values. 3 minus 1 is 2. Therefore, the 2 places are 2 units apart, which is very simple to see on the coordinate plane. Our objective in this lesson was to be able to use a coordinate plane to solve problems, including finding the distance between 2 points with either a common x or y coordinate. We met this objective by using absolute value to solve problems involving distance on the coordinate plane.